Seoul, Korea.
It's December 2011, and I'm touring the west coast of the United States as the frontman for a Korean punk rock band. How have I, a 31-year-old teacher from eastern Pennsylvania, ended up here? In 2007, I unsuccessfully tried to find work as a high school social studies teacher, and it was time to look elsewhere. I had heard about teaching English abroad from a friend and decided to give it a try. It sounded like it would be a great experience, and I could make a good amount of money to help pay off my student loans. I figured I could stay for 1 year, maybe 2 at the most, and then head back to the US to start a real career. But things didn't go as I planned. Thankfully, they went much, much better. I really enjoyed teaching in Korea. The kids were great, and so were most of the coworkers. Overall, I was having a great time, but something was missing. Ever since I was a kid, I'd been involved in music in some way, and I hadn't found any outlet for that in Korea. Then I found them, my people. It turned out that Korea actually had a thriving punk rock scene tucked away in the Hongik University neighborhood of Seoul. I met some of the greatest people I've ever known there and started spending all of my weekends going to shows and hanging out with punks from all over the world. It was at one of those shows that I met a girl who went by the nickname Trash. She'd actually been called that for so long that nobody I asked knew her real name. She played bass in a pop-punk band called BBLT and bartended at one of the 2 main scene bars, Club Spot. Needless to say, I was intrigued. After several months of spending way too much money at her bar and going to way too many of her band's shows, I convinced her to go on a date with me. Things went really well. Less than 5 months later, we were engaged, and 6 months after that, we were married. Like they say, when you know, you know. By the way, her real name is Jung-ah, but I still call her Trash. My beautiful wife, Trash. So what does this have to do with fronting a Korean punk rock band? Well, when Trash and I were planning our wedding, we decided that we didn't want to have the normal, impersonal wedding and reception that most Koreans have. Instead, we decided that after our wedding was finished, we'd go back to Club Spot and have a punk rock show there as our wedding reception. So we started booking what was going to be Seoul City's best punk rock show of the year, and I still didn't have a band. That would just not do. So I called up a friend of mine who played drums in a few other local bands and recruited a bassist and a lead guitar player. We covered a few punk rock love songs that were written by some of our favorite bands, along with 2 original songs I had written, one of them being the first of many love songs I would write for Trash in the years to come. We also did a punk rock version of an old Johnny Cash, June Carter song, and Trash and I sang together on stage for the first time. Around the same time, Trash's band decided that after 7 years they were going to call it quits. I don't think I have to explain that I saw this as an opportunity to get a great bass player and backup vocalists, along with ensuring that my future wife would never complain about me spending too much time at band practice. She agreed to join, and whatever that means was officially born. We spent the next 3 years writing songs, playing shows all over Korea, and even touring in Malaysia in 2010. Then, in 2011, we decided to spend a year in Pennsylvania. I needed to finish my master's degree so I could secure a long-term teaching position at a university here in Seoul, but that meant our band would have to go on hiatus for a year. We weren't very happy about that, but knew it was necessary. However, we were going to go out with a bang. I spent the months before we left Korea contacting promoters in the US and set up our first US tour. 16 shows in 18 days, from Los Angeles to Las Vegas to Seattle, and lots of places in between. We even got to play at Berkeley, California's famous 924 Gilman Street, the venue where bands like Operation Ivy, Green Day, Rancid, and some of America's other most influential punk rock bands got their starts when they were teenagers. It was an incredible experience and quite possibly the best family vacation of all time.